You Really Got Me by the Kinks. What a fantastic song, and this has been covered by many a rock band, most famously perhaps by Van Halen, but you will commonly hear this in pubs up and down the UK at the very least. And with that in mind, we do have different versions of this, not least our version with the Andy Guitar Band. So I'm going to be talking you through some of those variants in this tutorial. The sound wise, I was in my Victory amp, of course. We would again on channel 1. EQ is all at 12, so all neutral, and Tube Screamer for the solo, nice and simple. Recreating the same thing on the Boss Katana, 4 out of 10 on the gain on the Crunch channel, and that's about it really. Again, Tube Screamer is going to be activated for a solo if you want to recreate what I did. And legend has it that to get the overdrive on the original recording, the Kinks sliced their speaker cones, which I do not recommend at all, but that is how they got the overdrive sound, because we didn't have modern preamp stages or effects pedals like we do now. They didn't have those things back then, so they took their tone into their own hands, and I advise you do the same. You find your way of creating your tone with guitars and amps and gear that you like, whatever your preference is. So the way that we played this very famous riff is like this. This is going from the 2nd fret, or an F sharp power chord, to a G sharp power chord. Most live versions of the Kinks that I've found show them starting at the F chord and going to the G chord, so 1st fret to 3rd fret. However, the original recording kind of hangs between the two, and this is another great example of where I hope this video series is useful, because you have one version to work for if you choose to follow the other videos in this band program. Van Halen famously tuned down half a step and play going G to A, but they tuned down half a step, so they would be in tune with us. This way of doing it that we're going to focus on is the same, would be in tune with the Van Halen version, if you do kind of like that version. Now for a very famous easy beginner riff, this is not easy. So a couple of options that we have, as well as just working through it step by step, going from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret, and essentially keeping your fingers and hands still and just moving in this way. One thing I would recommend, and I like to do, is just pivot using the thumb at the back of the neck, which tab would not show you. So hopefully you can see this. The thumb's going to be about here, just kind of in line with fret 3. And we pivot around the thumb. That is what I'm doing. Finding a way to do that. Of course, it's this riff for the whole song. Another option is just doing the slide for the first one, and then lifting off fingers 2 and 3 and barring with the first finger. That is a great, I'd really advise that one for most people, especially if you're new to this riff. And also to kind of prove a point, I think during the first verse, when in the band recording, I actually do this. Literally just to prove that it doesn't sound too much different, and you can find your way of doing this riff and it will sound really great. So you have those 3 options: moving but pivoting with the thumb, so that's 2 4 4 2 4 root notes wise. And that's pivoting with the thumb, literally like this. Just moving for the first one and releasing to the bar, or just releasing to the bar for the whole riff. And of course, every time that the vocal kind of repeats, we kind of step up a notch with the vocal, the whole song steps up a notch, and we move up 2 frets. This would be going from 4th fret to 6th fret. Again, I'm pivoting in the same way, and I'm staying in the gap in between all the dots for the first riff. For the second one, And then to keep everything as similar as possible, I always like to go down a string. So this is now using a root 5 power chord rather than a root 6. So root note on string 5. Pivoting around the thumb in the same way. And you could do this if you wanted. After 3 you really got me's. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. We would ring out on a C sharp power chord, and these two chords will be going from C sharp to D sharp. And then we go back to the start again. Many live versions of the Kinks show the guitarist, Dave especially, playing the same riff up here from 9th fret to 11th fret. So that would mean all the power chords are on string 6 if you prefer that way. Of course you can do that. And then again, from checking out other live versions of the Kinks doing this in the 70s and then early 80s, they're playing it with much more overdrive on their amplifiers because they're in the 70s and 80s and amplifiers can cope with it. Dave the guitarist is improvising all sorts of solos, and they're even doing medleys and all sorts of things. You have those options if you're in your own cover band to do what you want, as we'll be looking at with the solo in a second. But what we're going to be going for first in this Andy Guitar Band program is playing along to the band now, just at a slightly slower tempo, so you can learn this riff and learn your way of how you're wanting to do it, along with the band, trying to play along, but at a slower tempo. That's something you can do on YouTube with the final play-along recording, of course. But here it is now, just the intro, verse and chorus of You Really Got Me at 75% speed. And please have a go at playing along, and let's have some fun. Okay.
You really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing now. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing now. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. Don't ever set me free.
Alright, so I hope that was good fun for you and that you had a go at playing along. We don't expect that to happen straight away, especially if you're new to these kind of rock guitar techniques, but that is what I'm encouraging you to do. It's the whole point of the series, really, to play along with the band at a slower speed and then up to tempo, and enjoy playing along to the band. Play along to it a few times until you kind of can't get it wrong, as that is what it takes to be able to play in a cover band of your own. So that would happen twice in its entirety, exactly the same. And the third time, when we get to the end of the second time, we get to here, and it's the solo section. The rhythm guitar and the bass would just keep playing the riff in the first position. One thing that I'm adding an awful lot is I'm actually doing my strumming just with downs and ups on the beat. So this right hand is always going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Kind of always just strumming the thicker 3 or thickest 4 strings. And it's what this hand is doing. Sounds a bit more Van Halen that way, especially if we had a bit more gain. That's a really good thing to practice. You can, of course, just play with down strums, but it's something to experiment with and working on those fundamental rock techniques. The ending of the song, just to cover it really quick, again, we'd have that You Really Got Me 3 times. You really got me. You really got me. And then we have this highest chord, so the D sharp chord, 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. The last one rings out, and then we end it as we commonly have with a lot of songs at this side of the set, just with a slide down like that. Really good fun. And other than that, you know, all those rhythm parts should be really clear from checking out the play along track. Let's have a look at the solo now. So here's what I played. That is a little bit different to the Kinks version, but obviously inspired by it. I added this because with the amount of overdrive that I have on my sound, that's sort of my home, and I wanted to add that little bit to show you how it can be inspired by an original solo, but also do your own thing. It's a cover band after all. We're supposed to be enjoying ourselves. And then there's a different ending, which I believe goes like this, which is when they're in essentially the G position. That's how we get that twang sound from the original. It's very 60s. So pick, flick off. So we got this bend, and also hitting the open B string. So that's something good to note. Other than that, it's quite similar. Starting off with this, which is essentially the start of the Highway to Hell by AC/DC solo. It's just 1 fret down. Then down to... I think this will be a good one to have tabbed out on the website actually. I don't have tabs because I don't own the copyright to a lot of this, but seeing as I made my own solo here, I can provide you with it. So it'll be on the website, link will be in the description. And the other section, which is the techniquey bit to get down, that's how I did this. With a bit of sweep picking, going up, up, up. Very minor sweep picking, nothing insane here. It's certainly not Steve Vai. I thought that would be a good thing for people to learn and work through. But of course, I encourage you to do your own version, and I think that's really, really important, to be inspired by other solos, but then do your own thing. That's what I often see a lot of bands do, even with their original material. It is, of course, personal preference. Let's have a recap over this solo really slow now. That's what we did. There'll be more help with learning that on the And Guitar website and on the app, where I'll put the tab, and any other questions that I get commonly asked, I will answer them or even make another video on it. But here's the main part of the video now. Here's where we're going to be going for the full play along to the entire song. You're in control. You can slow down the video if you wish using the YouTube speed feature. Don't just jam along to it once. Come back to this video tomorrow, come back to it the day after, and see if you can still play along to it each day after day. That's what it takes to be in a cover band. This is one of the most famous, most covered songs, I guess, in the world. So make the most of it. Have some fun. Here it comes. You Really Got Me.
You really got me going. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing now. Yeah, You really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing now. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. Don't ever set me free. I always wanna be by your side. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing now. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. Don't ever set me free. I always wanna be by your side. Yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what I'm doing now. Oh yeah, you really got me now. You got me so I can't sleep at night. You really got me. You really got me. You really got me. Oh.
So there we are, that's You Really Got Me. I hope that was something that you could do. Let me know in the comments below what struggles you're having, which bits you're finding difficult, and I will help you out all the best that I can. Please share this video and give it a like if it is something that you're really into. I hope you enjoyed the rest of this series, and of course you can check out more videos right now.